All-wheel drive, drift mode, ESC off. You can see you can really hold that all-wheel drive drift. Super amazing. I mean, never had this kind of thing with a car that is not rear-wheel driven. The sporty pinnacle of the all-new Audi A3 generation is right here. Thomas and Autogefuehl with the all-new Audi RS3. We have both the sedan and the hatchback for you here today. We'll tell you all about the differences and what makes this car so special and sporty. Here in the front we can see the huge mask here in the black contrasting style and this honeycomb structure also right there. Headlamps come with LED as standard, optional matrix LED, yeah, 700 euros extra even for the RS3. Yeah, come on, Audi extra price policy. And here with the signature in the bottom part here, there will be a very interesting feature to come up very soon. Look forward to that. Then lower part also very strong styling right there. And in the front, yeah, sedan and hatchback are kind of the same. The difference is really the side profile, because here we are at 4 meters 50 or 177 inches for the sedan. So the sedan is a little bit longer and it has, of course, this falling roofline right here. We have 19-inch wheels as standard. They look really massive. This is also the biggest size option. You can even get carbon ceramic brakes. They're really not that necessary. And you know, I have my folding ruler with me and I can show you 16 centimeters or 6 inches is the difference then, where the hatchback is shorter and of course has this typical hatchback ending. So which one do you prefer design wise? Tell me in the comments. And of course there will be a difference then in how practical they are, which is also very interesting. In either way, a strong side spoiler right there, also once again in a contrasting black style. So overall a very strong styling, yes, but still somewhat elegant. As for suspension types, you start directly with the sport suspension, which is actually 25 millimeters lower than the standard A3 and still 10 millimeters lower than the S3. And optionally, then you can go for the adaptive suspension, the dynamic chassis control. If you have the matrix LED, there's a very nice welcoming show when you open up the vehicle in the top and also in the lower part. The interesting thing, maybe you've seen it, at the right side there, or from your perspective at the left side, you have this, just kind of show, in the lower part of the LED. But on the other side, here, then on the other side, you can see here, RS3. Interesting, yeah, we've never seen it with a vehicle that kind of states its own name, but just on this one side. And now towards the rear, this is of course a crucial difference as well. The hatch, the typical, let's say, Volkswagen AG hatch form, here also for the Audi A3, modern tail lamp signature. That's actually very cool here. Really three-dimensional in all these accentuations, for example, here in the high gloss black once again. And with the sedan, you have this additional spoiler right here and the more classical shape here. So, yeah, it's really a tough choice. Both have something special, don't they? Of course, in the US, for our friends in the US, the sedan is the model to go for. In Europe, people rather go for the hatch because it's also available there. In both cases, Autogefuehl fake exhaust alert from the Autogefuehl fake exhaust police. Well, yeah, so the real exhaust is on the inside. The outside part is the most, impressive one. But yeah, I'm not sure if this was really needed. Yeah, and also in both cases, 290 kilometers an hour or 180 miles an hour is the top speed. Not sure if we're going to achieve that today. The good thing for me today, well, I don't have to decide yet which one I go for. Here, by the way, also in the rear, very interesting startup and goodbye signature, right? Wow, what a shot, look at that. This is the turning signature, or when you put the hazard lights on, really nice. And in this case, in the front, even more spectacular. Well, really, two cars are better than one, aren't they? Oh, and also very fancy here, this projection here, the puddle light from the doors then to the ground, always a nice feature. If you think this engine cover here is for free, you are mistaken. Once again, extra policy. However, what's included is this 2.5 liter 5-cylinder engine. This is the special thing about this vehicle. 400 horsepower, 500 Newton meters of torque, 3.8 seconds in the acceleration figure. These are the main facts and figures for today. And all-wheel drive. It's still a front-wheel driven platform, this vehicle here. However, a lot of torque can be sent to the rear wheels. And in this generation, with a torque split in the rear, So then more torque can be sent to the outside wheel in the corner, and even possible then with a drift mode. And now to a trunk or boot comparison. Both lose 55 liters in comparison to a front-wheel drive A3 model, because the all-wheel drive just takes more space than here in the rear. And we can see here the trunk of the sedan. It's limited in height. A backpack does fit in, so that's the catch of it. The width here, 1 meter or 40 inches. And then the advantage is here the normal trunk length is about 95 centimeters. So yeah, that's around 37 inches. So the trunk of the sedan a little bit longer. When we take a look at the hatch then here, we're at 77 centimeters or 30 inches. So a little bit shorter than here with the hatch. However, you're more flexible in loading things in and out. That's the basic difference. This is the car key, light and high quality with RS badging, then door closing sound. Very solid, like that. And then inside of the door with the microfiber cover here. Now in Dynamica, so another supplier. Soft also for the armrest, but not too soft here actually for your elbow. And the top part here also just some, well, not entirely hard pack, but also not really soft. But overall, very good build quality. Also here, the kind of reverse door handle is really good to use from the inside indeed. Then RS3 badging and RS3 floor mats. These are also these floor mats of the RS design package. And you also can get then here the microfiber steering wheel, also part of the design package. And the third part of the small design package would be here the seat belts in the contrasting style. If you have the extended RS design package, then you also have here these contrasts in the air vents, for example. So the microfiber steering wheel indeed does belong to it. And also the seats, they would also come with microfiber as standard, at least in Germany and other European markets. In the UK and probably also in the US, they will directly start with this one, with the animal skin seat, which is of course really a pity, because otherwise Dynamica microfiber on the inside, leatherette on the outside, and then with the design package you can get an animal-free RS3. Hey, that would be something for me, definitely. So you have to check out how the options are in your market and then complain at your dealer. Then let's get inside here. And you have that sport seat with the integrated head restraint. Yes, so that's already quite sport indeed, holding you also tight. And it's still fairly comfortable. We also see how it plays out in driving very soon. And with 1.86 or 6'1", still also have enough headroom. And as a comparison, if you have the RS design package in green, here also fitting to the exterior color, again, I think you have to like this. Do you? Tell me in the comments. Green contrast stitches you can see everywhere. Also, for example, then here on the seats and also in the air vents, these accentuations when you have the extended RS design package. So lovely attention to detail also once again here with the seat belts and so on. But yeah, is it something for you? Tell me. Interior overview, soft touch dashboard, and here the design accentuations. Nice clicking sounds here from the air vents, because you also open and close them by that. And you really have this driver focus. And then my favorite microfiber steering wheel is so cool with the 12 o'clock marking here, racing style. Also nice shifting pedals and real buttons at the steering wheel for the volume, for the RS mode button here, for example, that you get into the racy driving modes. And also your left side to control the digital instruments in 12.3 inch. Soon more deals to that. Rather on the right side here, 10.1 inch infotainment system, all via touch, but it has actually an easy menu structure. Also soon more deals to that. And yes, glad to have still a manual climate unit, again with nice clicking sounds. So I really like that we don't have, the too futuristic style here, that we can still control everything also with buttons and in high class quality. 2 USB-C chargers in the rear there, down there, together with an inductive charging pad for your smartphone. You can also have the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection. Then this is here also another volume slider then for the passenger. Here the dual clutch transmission, shift by wire, so there's no mechanical link. That's why they could also make it so small. The cup holders, here you fold them out like this. Then they're also somewhat adaptive. And then you also have this armrest, which is really soft, well attached, and opening up, some more space underneath. A base A3 would start with smaller digital instruments. Here the RS3 automatically comes with these, the bigger 12.3 inch, and you can change the views in there, for example. So you have the map here, full screen. That's of course cool. And then your sporty view here, and depending also on the performance mode. Here, for example, with the RS mode button, you have this view with the RPM meter centralized. So a lot of choices you have available here. Pretty cool. Head-up display is always a good option. You also have the allowed speed in there, for example. And if you go to the different performance modes, it also switches to a more simplified view. Infotainment system has actually easy menu structure. It could be a little bit faster though. Interesting is that you have this car menu here, for example, also RS monitor, so that then shows you, for example, different like temperatures and so on. So sporty gauges, G meter, for example. And when you go for the driving selector or the RS mode button, you can see here in the drive select efficiency mode. That's really interesting. Predominantly front wheel drive. Auto mode really adapts to, for example, when you start to drive faster, also the suspension stiffens up. In dynamic mode, the adaptive suspension is always a little bit stiffer then. And dynamic mode already has, let's say, a rear wheel, let's say, focus, because maximum is always 50-50. So there's no, there's still a front wheel bias in a way, but then in dynamic mode, even less. And then you also have RS performance mode settings where you can really individualize your own stuff. And the performance mode, by the way, this would be optimized for best handling. So no understeer, no oversteer. Dynamic mode would be a little bit oversteering, so depending what you like. Then RS torque rear, this is in the drift mode. So when you activate that, then from the power sent to the rear, and then in the rear 100% is sent to the outside wheel. Then when you, for example, could do like a corner like this, 100% is like on this wheel. So this is then the definitely funniest mode, so to speak. And then you can for the most fun, you can also then deactivate the ESC completely with the button here below. CarPlay integration looks like this, and sound system wise you go 6 speakers, 9 speakers optional with the Audi sound system, and then here 15 speakers for the B&O sound system, and it's really excellent. So you have a great in-depth sound. I love that. In the compact segment, it's really among the leading ones. But already the 9-speaker optional sound system is really good if you don't want to spend too much money. As for the rear, also the contour stitching style right there, and you would get the microfiber if you have the base seats, at least in Germany. Well, the base surface. So let's get inside, and remember, this is the short wheel base of this platform. So like the Golf and the A3 have the short wheelbase, the Leon and the Octavia, they have the long wheelbase. And the thing is, together with these very thick sport seats, there's not too much legroom here. So depending on how I set the front seat here, I can barely exactly fit here as a tall adult, and that's about it as for the legroom. It's not that uncomfortable as for the seating area. Headroom wise, here in the hatchback is okay, directly fits with my 1.6 or 6.1. So this is then better with the hatchback. Technically soon showing you the sedan. And by the way, hardpack, really hardpack material at the inside of the doors right here. And well, using the middle seat is kind of hard because you also have the big middle tunnel. So yeah, that comes really close. Overall, not that spacious here in the rear for the Audi RS3 or for the A3 in general. Some adaptive cup holders here. Well, there's high quality here at least. So maybe just go back here for beverages. The rear of the sedan as a comparison, legroom is of course completely the same. It's the same wheelbase, but then again, the headroom, yeah, that is a clear disadvantage because when you lean backwards here with 1.86 or 6.1, I do hit the ceiling with my head. So more headroom in the hatchback definitely. However, if your spine is kind of relaxed like this, or like monkey style, then it's actually quite okay, but definitely the hatchback has the advantage here. Launch control, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 62 miles an hour. Let's go. That's already it. Woo! That was almost 150 kilometers an hour. Wow, super impressive. Alright guys, and now it's about drifting time. Second gear in this roundabout. Wow. And I mean, it's dry road. We're not on an ice lake, and this is not a rear-wheel driven car. We have all-wheel drive, drift mode, ESC off. You can see you can really hold that all-wheel drive drift. Super amazing. I mean, never had this kind of thing with a car that is not rear-wheel driven. That is really wow. Super impressive, and it's not too hard to hold the drift. And once again, this is dry road. It's not an ice lake. I can really very well hold it. It almost feels like I'm up here in Sweden again on the lake. Well, what else there is to say? And you could also very well see that that the torque is really fully way on the outside wheel. That's so in the front like 50-50, and in the rear 100% that comes to the rear is also on the outside wheel there. Yeah, super amazing. Welcome everyone, Thomas's Performance Driving Lounge today with the Audi RS3. And no matter if you go for the hatch or sedan, they both have the same wheelbase and do perform like this. And you know, this is originally a front wheelbase platform. We're in the dynamic mode with the ESC Sport mode. Dynamic mode gives me a little bit more play definitely, and also puts this torque split in a way that I have more torque at the outs of the wheels. So this is less front wheel biased feeling then, and that's indeed what it delivers here. Really hard on the brakes. Circuit today in Greece near Athens, and this 5-cylinder engine delivering me great performance. 150, 160 kilometers an hour. Wow. Of course, we're wearing a helmet in here today just for safety reasons. But the thing about this vehicle is it has a great handling, so balanced, and you know, all-wheel drive, I can really stay on the gas although we are in the corner. That's a special thing. With the rear-wheel drive only vehicle, I would have to be a little bit more cautious, but you know, I can really just, wow, holy moly, what the hell? Like an all-wheel drive drift out of the corner. This is so amazing. So this torque split in the rear is working tremendously. Again, you don't have the rear-wheel bias feeling in the way that it's a rear-wheel driven car, but you have no front wheel bias. That's the thing, you know, with the all-wheel drive plus torque split. Wow, and I can tell you, this drives so phenomenally. Wow, I'm super amazed. Almost 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour here on this straight. Wow, extremely impressed. The steering is super precise. There's no dead zone area. It's also very progressive. You don't have to steer a lot. You can see, follow the corners, and then also my steering commands as they are here on the pegs on the left side. And here I turn in the steering wheel the way the corners are, and then I'm really early on the gas. Wow. I mean, we knew it was sportier than before, but this is, yeah, no doubt the sportiest RS3 ever, and it's so much more agile than the outgoing version, which was already great. And you know, I drove the normal motorway to the way up here, and the funny thing is, it can be a very comfortable car. You can score some 7 liters on 100 kilometers, like 35 mpg US, 40 mpg UK. That's possible. At the same time, this 4-cylinder engine with that 400 horsepower can do exactly this, what we are seeing at this moment. Wow, and I think this is the best and sportiest compact hatch or sedan we've ever experienced, no doubt about that. So definitely segment leading in the sportiness right here, both with that unique 5-cylinder engine and yeah, that handling and with that torque split is just amazing. By the way, there is also this RS Performance mode that is also possible, and let's test the differences. So the Performance mode is rather oriented on, yeah, interesting, less oversteer, it's more balanced, so the rear doesn't come around that heavily when I'm at the outs of the corner. It's more, let's say, lap time optimized, so here I have more, wow, like super balanced and flowy feeling, but not so much that the rear would break out. So this is very interesting what they tuned here. So if you want to go for the best lap time, rather go for the performance mode. And if you want to have the most fun, then you can put it to the dynamic mode and play a little bit more around with that rear. And indeed, you know, the next thing would then be the drift mode. which is called RS Torque rear. Hard to pick that here while driving. And here in this case then, up to 100% can be sent to the outside wheel, and now I have to be rather a little bit cautious, because now the rear can really spin out. Here of course on dry track it's not as dangerous as it would be in red track or something like this. However, yeah, I feel now the car is a little bit way more loose, and yeah, look at that. See here, rear is coming out, I have to counter steer. As long as the ESC is set to sport, the car does catch me somewhat, so the control systems, but when I would deactivate it, then I could spin around all the way. And I mean, here on the racetrack, of course, that's kind of dangerous, but professional race drivers could actually do that. But really interesting how the driving modes have such a big effect, of course, even more so here in these extreme situations on the racetrack. Wow, it's really aggressive, and gonna need 1 or 2 showers after this session. So yeah, definitely now pinnacle of sportiness is in this generation. Wow. Woo. Yeah, that was something. But there's also normal driving possible with the Audi RS3, and when you start here in normal auto mode, it's all fine. Even when there's some bumps in the road, it doesn't project to your back. And when you have the adaptive suspension here, indeed, this can be easily a primary vehicle for everyday driving life. So with a fixed sport suspension, it's it can be quite rough, but here with the adaptive suspension, you still can have very comfortable ride in everyday time. Slalom here, by the way, easy control of the steering wheel in normal driving mode. And it's really interesting that when I go to the efficiency mode, it's basically front wheel drive all the time for biggest efficiency. And I told you already in the racetrack, on the racetrack talking about fuel efficiency, that was something as well. 7 liters, 1 kilometers. 35 mpg US, even 40 mpg UK would be minimum, like cruise control, 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, cruise control, not change it, minimum consumption. So that 5-cylinder together with the efficiency mode is capable of very good fuel efficiency indeed. And yeah, even in dynamic mode, when you have the ESC on, you can drive it also on public roads, for example. But again, watch out due to that torque split. But when the ESC is on, it is already, it's still possible. And the sound node is also optimized a little bit then, and it is just fun, to accelerate out here. For example, when I'm here on that road and I need to get on the road, it can even be a safe thing, to accelerate a little bit faster. Yeah, that would be, your discussion at home, like, I really need that performance car. Yeah, because it's safer when I can accelerate out faster, that no one is crashing into my back. So yeah, just giving you some tips for for the discussions at home then for the next car buying. In a dynamic mode, of course, you lose a little bit of comfort from the suspension, but it's still quite okay. And this car really masters that compromise between sportiness and comfort very well. Before that, I only saw it with the S3, but here in the new generation, I even more see it also with the RS3. The span is just wider. So, I'm super impressed, and you have a cylinder more than with the 4-cylinder, definitely. That also can bring actually you to lower RPMs, so that's also possible, that you don't have to stress that engine that much. And here on the motorway, I can also set cruise control here, for example, 110 kilometers an hour, 60 something miles an hour. Reasonable noise insulation, rather silent in here, good comfort also, again from the suspension. And the seats are also not too uncomfortable, especially if you go for the base microfiber version. If available in your market, they will be a little bit cozier. Here, these animal skin seats with that cool looking stitching and this honeycomb structure on the inside, it looks cool, but it's not that comfortable long term. That's the catch of it. And you also have all the modern assistance systems if you like. So you can, for example, have distance to the car in front of you, and also the lane can be kept. So you can activate or deactivate it here, left next to the steering wheel, how you want that to have. Only thing here with the steering wheel, 12 o'clock mark, and the dashboard, we find it in a lot of MQB platform cars and Volkswagen AG. Sometimes I feel it's a little bit offset how the steering is straight, you know. It might just be a visual thing, but you just see it, you know. My hair's okay, by the way, after wearing that helmet. So here, for example, when I'm going like straight, I sometimes feel like I have the steering wheel a little bit more to the right or something, you know. So it's just a little bit. It's worse in the Skoda Octavia, for example, than here. But it was to me, in a way, notable here. Like that's, see here, that would be running straight, but then I go to the left, and this is straight, and I feel that the steering is a little bit to the right. Not too extreme, as I said, but something that is somehow notably for me. So once again, very good motorway vehicle as well. Super impressive what we saw today. Really now the pinnacle of compact racers. You should compare it to the Golf R. It also gets this torque split now. And if you don't want to spend so much money, what about the Audi S3? Could be also something for you. See you there.